Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras, here with ILTV's morning briefing. The Israeli Prime Minister has just officially met with German Chancellor Angela Merkel, all as part of his bid to push European countries away from the Iranian nuclear deal. Well, Merkel has publicly agreed with the Israeli leader that Iran is a threat to Israeli security and that Iranian troops must be removed from Syria and away from Israel's border. But the German leader is still sticking strong to her view that the 2015 nuclear agreement is the best way to prevent Iran from developing atomic weapons. Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei is threatening to boost its uranium enrichment capacity if the nuclear deal falls apart. Tensions between Iran and the West are surging ever since United States President Donald Trump decided to withdraw the United States from the 2015 Iran nuclear deal with the world powers. Under the accord, the Islamic Republic has curbed its capacity to enrich uranium for nuclear fuel, and in turn has gotten most of its international sanctions lifted to help rebuild the Iranian economy. But the United States and Israel believe the deal doesn't address Iran's nuclear work beyond 2025, or its role in military conflicts in Yemen and Syria. Despite these concerns, European signatories are scrambling to save the deal, which they believe is essential to stalling the creation of an Iranian nuclear weapon right now. Yet the Iranian government still vows never to accept limits on Tehran's ballistic missile program. For Israel, this is a major concern, especially with the anti-Israel rhetoric coming from the Iranian Supreme Leader. Khamenei just took to Twitter yesterday calling Israel a cancerous tumor that must be removed and eradicated from the Middle East. Israel is poking fun at the threat with a tweet back quoting Mean Girls, but German Chancellor Angela Merkel was quick to address the comment in her meeting with Netanyahu. The Israeli leader has long identified Iran as Israel's greatest threat, but the question is whether or not he will be able to convince European nations, just like Germany, to address the nuclear issue in the same way. IDF troops are preparing for renewed violence along the Gaza border as Palestinians across the West Bank and Gaza mark the anniversary of the Six-Day War, or the Nakba. Typically, Palestinians hold riots and demonstrations that often lead to conflict. Further, the IDF must be on guard throughout the weekend. Though June 5th is the actual Nakba day, intel suggests demonstrations may be moved to Friday, as they have been for around 2 months. But probably the main issue still comes from incendiary kites flown in from the Gaza Strip towards Israeli communities in the south. Over the past 6 weeks, hundreds of kites and balloons have destroyed tens of thousands of acres of agricultural fields and nature reserves. In light of the attacks, southern Israeli farmers have announced their intentions to sue Hamas for war crimes at the International Criminal Court at The Hague. And in the meantime, to compensate Israeli farmers for their losses, Prime Minister Netanyahu ordered the National Security Council and Tax Authority to estimate what was lost and withhold that amount from payments to the PA. So far, estimates are at roughly $1.4 million.